Good morning, St. Paul. This is your Un-Bougie foodie on a Saturday morning, of course. Thank you so much, as always, for joining with me this morning. Hope you're having that cup of coffee or breakfast, getting ready for the day. Quite a few things to talk about, or things I want to share, if you would. Um, Last week, gosh, it was a lot of fun talking with my two guests, from about Algerian Ramadan and North African cuisine. So yeah, just jumping right in it. One of the guests, Mohammed, mentioned about a particular type of. I think it was a. Gosh, what was it? It was a. I want to say it was maybe just some spices, but he referred to it. I have this information because if I'm going to get it wrong, I don't want to get it wrong, and that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to get it wrong. I believe it is called Ras el. Oh man, that's embarrassing. Uh, Gosh. Anyway, uh, Ras el Hanout, if I'm not mistaken, is what it was. But it was basically more of a Moroccan type of using Moroccan dishes, or very similar, if you would. Gosh, I wanted to talk about it. I'm gonna still talk about it. Uh, anyway, the oh cool. I just found it. I don't know what happened there. But basically, it's a just a lot. It's a spice mix, if you would. Um, Oftentimes, used again in Moroccan dishes, but and they refer to it as top of the shop. Um, he didn't go into very much detail, but I was doing some other research on it and everything, and it's a spice mixture from Morocco, and they say that it could contain from 10 to 100 different spices. Really just depends upon the spices that are available, in the shop owners, what he has available. And I tell you that I haven't found any actual recipes as yet, because I was just thinking, what could I cook this with? I'm not familiar with Moroccan um, flavors or cuisines and so forth. So again, researching the things that I did find, though, regarding it were, you could certainly use it on lamb, pork, uh, chicken. Oh gosh, and apparently it's so a whole lot more. But if you're not familiar with, and I'm just gonna kind of run down a few of the many spices that there are. Um, there's nutmeg, coriander, cumin, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, paprika, cayenne pepper, cardamom. Again, it goes on and on. And I was really excited about when he mentioned that. I was like, something caught my attention about that spice mix that he mentioned. Again, it's, and I'm probably saying it wrong. I apologize, but Ras el Hanout, I believe, Rasel Hanout. So I apologize if I'm not getting that pronunciation correctly. Um, but from that, I was just thinking, gosh, I wonder if I am able to put that. What other things I'm able to put that on aside from the lamb, pork, the chicken that they mentioned. Um, I was looking. What I think it mentioned something about it could be put in I suppose soups, or even mixed in with rice to give it that, gosh, that full-bodied flavor. Um, I'm really excited, and what really had me too is that I'm really excited to get to use my spice grinder. It's been I got it maybe about, I don't know, a month ago, probably. I haven't had an opportunity to use it because really it's a coffee and spice grinder, and I was like, I'm waiting for just the right maybe spice or mixture that I want to do. And from last week when he and his wife um, mentioned, the different types of spices and flavors that are used within Algerian cuisine, North African cuisine, it kind of caught my attention. And just because of regular, secular work stuff, you get busy and then finally you remember that there was something that you were feeling really passionate about and strongly about. So that's kind of what was happening on Thursday and Friday of this week for me. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was in training, whatever. That's work. That's work. Um, Fun stuff for me is finding out recipes and, a new spice and how I could use it in in any type of new cuisine or cooking or whatnot. Um, and I mentioned to them last week too that I am reading um, a very popular chef's book, one of his books that he has written or published, and it is called Jacques Pepin's Heart and Soul in the Kitchen. And more and more as I'm going through it, I'm just thinking I really need to get more into just reading more cookbooks and engrossing myself further in different food cuisines. I know, he's more French and French based, but, he makes it, I suppose, appealing to, American that has never done any type of French cooking, him along with Julia Child, and many others too, that if you've never done it, the recipes, the ingredients and so are they're fairly easy to obtain. So you wouldn't have to worry about, oh gosh, where am I going to get this from or whatever. And he even makes suggestions on, which I found very interesting too, because most times, you talk about a chef, they're doing things from straight up, I don't use can this or can that. Nope. Jack Pepin in his cookbook is, already saying, hey, use frozen vegetables or, packaged frozen vegetables or, some canned goods or whatever. It doesn't always have to be about this fabulous, wonderful, chef-styled prepared dinner. It's if the food is good. And what this show, again, what is it always about? I always say it is always about the food. I mean, bringing people together, and I'm going to share a really cool experience that happened, why I even said that too, or I added that in, in just a moment. But, that Ras el Hanout spice, I will let you all know how that goes, because if it is not today, we have kind of a long weekend, thankfully. Unfortunately, I do have to work on Monday, but those friends that don't, I'm jealous. But I feel that this is going to be certainly going to be a project for me that I'm really excited about, because I have some pork and, gosh, I forgot about that. I have a pork loin right now in my freezer that I would love to I can imagine just probably doing all of this with. And yeah, see, my mind is racing right now. But yes, this is going to be a project of mine for this weekend. I'm really excited about it, and I will let you know how it turns out. But I also want to hear from you, listeners. Please feel free to give me a call and tell me what your favorite spice mix or blend is. Again, this is a food show, and it's not just me relaying information, and it's you about you sharing as well with the community, with the show. Um, okay, you don't have to release your secret recipes and so forth, but hey, you never know. It could be something that a spice mix or spice blend that someone else is probably trying to find out or wanting to know how to use, that they've probably thought about. If you have some type of suggestion that you could possibly offer, certainly, please feel free to, give me a call here at 651-200-3479. Again, that's here at the radio station, the Un-Bougie Foodie, at 651-200-3479. If not, you could always leave me a Facebook page message. Just go visit the Un-Bougie Foodie, and I'll quickly answer your questions, or appreciate your comments. Let me know how the show is doing, or again, offer a suggestion for maybe again a recipe, or at the moment I'm talking about spice blend because I'm really excited about that. But let me know. You could always follow me as well on Instagram, which is _Un-Bougie Foodie, or check out some of my food ravings sometimes on Twitter at Un-Bougie Foodie. But this show again is about sharing food experiences, recipes, ideas, and just giving the community an opportunity to learn also about restaurants that are in the area that, hey, maybe you're not familiar with. Maybe you've never gone to, a certain, establishment that you've seen, you've driven past many, many times. But that's what, please. Every Saturday we're tuned in at 10 a.m. You could listen to us on the TuneIn app, and that's streaming live. So certainly if you're wherever you are across the country, and I say that because, well, I've probably heard my sister call in, or other friends and so forth. So they're not even from Minnesota, but others are, yes, but my sister's not. So, feel free there. If you're listening locally, certainly you could tune in on your radio, again, 104.7 FM dial. And again, we're here every Saturday. But again, I wanted to touch on a little experience that I had. And this was with some friends over in Maplewood area. You never really know how someone of another culture is going to certainly react to you liking their food, or I shouldn't say that because I kind of gave it away already. Crap. But how someone may react when you ask them about their culture. And that's what happened last night. We were sitting out and just enjoying, the evening, if you would. And a friend, they live next door to a Somali family. And when I've been over there other times as well, my goodness, the aromas that are coming from them from their home is just amazing. And we're trying to guess, what is it that they're making? What is it that they're that they're cooking? And we're trying to pick out, okay, I smell turmeric, or I smell caraway or something. And so last night I just said, he stood up and he was like, oh my God, she's cooking again. I was like, dude, why don't you just let me go over and ask her, what is that wonderful aroma? We're not talking about cologne. What is that wonderful aroma that is coming, that's coming from your home? So, back and forth, we were trying to decide if we should go over there and whatnot. I was saying yes. But I'm not the neighbor. It's I think it's different when a neighbor comes over. Yeah, I'm a person that loves to talk about food and interested in finding about new cuisines and so forth. But I think to establish a good relationship amongst, a community or neighbors, let it start with something like that. I mean, go next door. If you see your neighbor or smell, in this case, your neighbor making something wonderful, why not go next door and compliment them on it? So finally, after about, oh gosh, 10, maybe 15 minutes, finally got him to go next door. And, I was a little scared too myself because, you never really know how somebody's going to react. So we walked next door. We went ahead and rang the doorbell. Like, okay. And we know that they're there. We know that the family is there. But it's a large house. And most of the house was kind of like the lights were off and so forth. And we know that they were in a back room. So we figured, hey, we know somebody's there. So we rang the bell, waited a minute or two, rang the bell again. And then we were like, okay, well, maybe they probably, I don't know, they probably don't want to be bothered. Not so much that we didn't think, we thought that they were like, okay, we don't care who it is. So he was still kind of determined. I think after we initially went to the door, rang the bell twice, he was like, oh my, I can't get this aroma out of my head, out of my senses. So funny. He stood kind of on his side, on their side of the property, whatever, but waved to them through the window. And I think it kind of took them by surprise. The two women that were, the Somalian women that were there, they were preparing, a meal. You could literally smell this thing, smell the aroma just coming through. And of course, as we got closer and closer, we were like, this is amazing. Whatever it is that they're making. And so, he kind of motioned her and said, hey, just wanted to talk to you a minute. So she came outside, really nice. And again, I'm not familiar very much with Somalian culture. She was gracious enough to come out and talk with us from a distance. I don't know if that's part of, I don't know. I'll have to find that out. Maybe talk with a Somali friend that I have and find out. But she, we complimented her on the aroma that was coming from her home, and my friend, it was like, oh my goodness, are you willing to share the recipe? And she said yes, but then she immediately followed that up with saying, well, I'll come out and bring you all some. And we kind of both looked at each other and we're like, no, you don't have to. I mean, believe me, that's not trying to be, I really was trying to honor her and show my appreciation and everything and just kind of like thank her. Both of us were. And there was more than myself, and there were other friends that were there too. And we were just all commenting, from afar, even before we went over there. And, she's like, no, please, I'll bring you some. And we were like, thank you so much. It really isn't necessary. But she's like, no, I'll be back shortly. As soon as I'm done, I'll come bring you some. Oh my goodness. I think probably 10 minutes we went back over and talked with the other friends, and they were like, what did she say? And we told her, we complimented her, the aroma and everything, and was looking to probably get the recipe, and then said that, hey, she said that she's going to bring us some. And we were like, really? And we're thinking, okay, it's going to be a small plate of, just for us to all taste or whatever. There were like 5 or 6 of us that were outside, and literally, honestly, 10, maybe 15 minutes later, it wasn't very long, but it wasn't like we were waiting for like a full meal or something. She brought out this, four plates of like main dish, plus a side dish, and also I don't know what type of bread or that is used, you know, but man, we ate like it was a full meal. She brought it on this beautiful tray, and she certainly said, said just make sure I get that back. It's like, no, not a problem. We were not expecting that, and we ate this food, and it was the flavors. I mean, it was there was a salad that she made, or I'll say they because it was herself and I believe another woman that was on the inside. They were preparing the dish or dishes. The salad, it had broccoli florets, and it was again a salad, but it had a different flavor to it. So whatever spices or maybe it was olive oil and mixed with some spices that was drizzled with it and whatnot. It was light. It was flavorful. Broccoli and I think it was romaine lettuce and red and yellow cherry tomatoes. Gosh, I forgot what else was in it. Because we were just really raving over this food. And then there was chicken, and then she did kind of like it's a pasta type of side dish, not really spaghetti because it had I don't know what type of sauce it was, but it had this more earthy type of sauce to it. It was kind of a reddish or brown or brownish sienna, but the flavors, I mean, I could taste the black pepper in it a bit, but it was mixed in. I mean, the pasta was mixed in, and it's so good. And then there was this one plate that she had of it was goat. And my friends, they're like, oh, I've never had it before. And yeah, I'm not trying to say that I'm the expert of all things, anything like that, or I didn't want to jump out and say, I've had goat before, because it may have been a different type of flavor palette, if you would, for this particular type of dish, and it may have changed my thought process on the type of goat that I had or how it was prepared previously and what I've had. It was all, what I just remember. It's reminding me of what the sauce that the goat was in. It's almost like mole, but I could clearly taste turmeric, and also turmeric was in there quite a lot. It wasn't overpowering, but I could taste the turmeric, and I could taste the curry in it, and the sauce was just the bread that they gave us. She explained to us as we were, she presented it to us. She said you use that to, to eat with, and, eat the meat and everything. And so, of course, that's what we were doing. And I'm telling you, between, I think, the five of us, we shared that, I'm just going to say it, that meal that she presented to us. And I have to again say thank you to her. I don't even know her name or anything, but they have a large family, so they literally took food from out of what they prepared for their family and gave some to neighbor next door. And I know it's a long-winded story, but again, the whole thing about taking an opportunity really to show your appreciation to someone for their culture, their cuisine or something. You never know how it's going to turn out. You never know what type of relationship you are able to build based on just reaching out and complimenting someone on something as wonderful as food. Food is always going to bring people together. People of different cultures, different races. People appreciate good food, and especially if you could smell it and you're already having in your head gosh, what sauce is that, or what what spice is being used? Why not compliment that person and let them know? Because you might make a new friend. You'll enjoy a new type of cuisine. I mean, literally, these friends never had goat before, but it was just an enticing aroma that was coming from next door, and we just had to find out. So hopefully, hopefully he will get a recipe, and maybe he might make it one day if he's able to get some goats. Uh, yeah. So if you're listening, Jim, Diane, Sean, yeah, get some goats and make sure, Jim, that you get the recipe from next door. If you don't do it, yeah, at least pass it on to somebody so that they could do it, and then I will do it and bring it over so that you have some. Oh man, but again, so I know it was a bit of a story and everything, but I felt I needed to share that because, sometimes you just have to find your way in either making a new friend or establishing a bridge between cultures or your neighbors, within your community and so forth. Whatever happened to doing like street potlucks or neighborhood potlucks or something like that? Now, mind you, I understand everyone, they have their own idea or feeling, if you would, about someone else's cooking or just in general. It's like, yeah, I just don't eat from anybody. I have heard that so many times, or they want to know where did this come from or whatnot. I understand that. I really do. But if not, I mean, why not even just try to create something where it doesn't necessarily have to be truly cooked or something that you feel you have to question. I don't know. But I think that's a way of kind of like building communities or letting people know that you care about each other within the community. Food is certainly that avenue that you're able to use, because everybody likes to eat or wants to eat, likes to eat, needs to eat. Sharing it among other people, other cultures within your community is a beautiful thing. It really is. It really is. Well, here we are, continuing on the rest of the show. And, I would normally start the show with talking about farmers markets. And I know I jumped right into talking about that spice blend or Moroccan spice mix. Yeah, I was a little bit excited about it, but never fear. Your food or farmers market information is here. So, in the past, I've always talked about Minnesota Grown. Going to minnesotagrown.com, .org actually, and just visiting their website to find out where's the newest farmers market or nearest farmers market. There is actually even more extensive, and I know that's for here, but I recently found a website and I was listening to another food show. If you're not familiar, you need to get out there and listen to some other food shows in addition to mine. But and I have not heard about this directory, but I am so glad that I was able to hear about it, learn about it. It is the National Farmers Market Directory. So take the first letter of each word and and that is the website. So N for Nancy, F as in Frank, M as in Mary, D as in David. And I'm sorry I did that phonetically. Sorry, I'm not a school teacher, or I've never been a school teacher. It's just, you know, N sounds like M and D sounds like B or whatever. So anyway, so National Farmers Market Directory, or if you could also just look it up. Um, Google is your friend, my friends. Google is your friend. So nfmd.org, and I mean, it just immediately takes you to that page. But what it does, this directory, it helps connect growers, vendors, small businesses, and importantly, consumers in the local community, so that they can find where farmers markets are. And not only farmers markets, but their actual farms and so forth, and kid-run farmers markets or activities that are fun for children, at a farm. It's so intuitive. It's very, very simple, and you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to search through a whole bunch of stuff or whatever. Nope. Put in your zip code. Like, I'm on it right now, and so I'll just say that if anybody was ever interested in trying to find out where their nearest farmers market is, and whether, no matter what state that you're located in, all you have to do is enter in your zip code. So I'm going to enter in the zip code that's where we're located, and I know immediately that they're going to list a number of different farmers markets that are nearby. And already, I mean, just by entering in that zip code, there are at least, I'm going to say 20 or 20 plus. Now, the interesting thing about this, as I was looking, I was like, okay, crap, I wonder how does anybody find out about, within their state or something, and rather than just, not just, I don't know, St. Paul or Minnesota, but so on their website, they have home, where you would actually enter in your zip code, but then they also have browse. And so that's farmers markets by location. That browse, clicking on that browse, takes you still to the directory page, but it's by state. So, and interestingly enough, I was surprised. It gives some statistics on different states that have different number of farmers markets. I know I was kind of sad about Minnesota. It makes me miss California because, and believe me, no knock on Minnesota because, or just Minneapolis, Minnesota period, but because some of the quite a number of farmers markets here, they are quality farmers markets. I mean, that are much larger than any farmers market that I've ever been to. So quality over quantity at times, but it's just interesting to see at a state level, the different number of farmers markets that are across the country. And just as an example, California, 764 farmers markets. Yes, 700, over 700. Michigan, over 340. Illinois, about 329. Massachusetts, 300, more than 311 farmers markets. So, Minnesota, I know, I think they mentioned it had 60. Nope, Minnesota has approximately 191 farmers markets. Hennepin alone hits the majority with 46. So again, that's over the entire state. Hennepin definitely has that covered. Minneapolis alone has 39. So yeah, and that's Minneapolis. St. Paul has 20. Shout out to St. Paul farmers markets. Notice I said plural because there are a lot. So I mean, you could just click on St. Paul, and I told you that there was about 20 of them. So I mean, the popular ones, and then ones that I've never been to: Jackson Plaza Farmers Market, 7th Place Farmers Market, I know ones that there's one, East St. Paul Farmers Market that's on Payne and Sims. Um, they not only tell you, um, they give you scheduled times, um, specifically where they're located, the actual map, and they do it by longitude and latitude. So if you are, an adventurous person, don't go by the directories. Go by longitude and latitude and try to find it. Good luck. But gosh, yeah. Once again, keep that in mind. National Farmers Market Directory across the nation. So, again, you wonder, well, do I have my local grocery store or whatnot? But why do I need to know about a farmer's market? But farmers markets give you an opportunity to get really fresh vegetables and meat and, you know, pasture raised chicken and just organic or true organic eggs and dairy. And just think of all the we talk so much about the different types of things that are either in food, preservatives. Unfortunately, sometimes certain pesticides are necessary to keep away, for other vegetation and everything to grow safely. But still, it's still some type of pesticide or something that is actually being sprayed to keep off other insects and so forth that may damage a particular crop. Are these things that you want to really truly ingest? I certainly am one. I wish I lived on a farm. I know it would probably be a lot of work, but I just think of all the different people that would have an opportunity to meet and share recipes with and food with. But again, these are local farmers and growers that are bringing food directly to you, your consumers, and you don't have to worry about where's my money going to. It's going directly back to that farmer or that local grower, so they could continue to bring you more fresh fruit and vegetables and dairy products and meats. So yeah, go visit your local farmers markets. Again, I know I talk about going to restaurants, but we also talk about on the show about cooking at home. And aside from also going to your local grocery store, because it's very convenient, your farmers markets are also available too. And many things that you could find at the grocery store, you could actually find at your farmers market as well, and sometimes at much less. But again, you have to be out there in the community and to go to the farmers markets to really say, yeah, I did find that I could spend $30 and $40 at the farmers market and get fruits and vegetables and things that I'm like, wow, I've never seen this before or enjoyed. And then you all of a sudden realize, gosh, I would spend probably about $50 or $60 if I were at the grocery store. It I won't say it balances out. The grocery store as a convenience is definitely necessary, for many things. Again, for convenience or other items that you feel that packaged items, and if you're not making it at home. But still, going to the farmers markets will save you money, and it will also put money back into the community, the growers, the farmers, which it's a cycle. You put money back into them, they will continue to bring you wonderful fresh fruits and vegetables and everything that for nourishment. Yeah, for nourishment. So, like I always say, I'm always going to bring you something about a farmer's market or some type of food. So, National Farmers Market Directory. Check that out, folks. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. I am here every Saturday at 10 a.m. If you probably would like to find out maybe what your nearest farmer's market is, you feel free to either visit the Farmers Market Directory, that National Farmers Market Directory page, again at NFMD, NFMD.org, and enter in your zip code or your address, or even just your city, and it'll find you all the ones in your local area. Or if you'd like, you could feel free to call me. Again, at 651-200-3479, and I'll be more than happy to help you with that. Or if you just want to give me a call and talk about maybe something that you picked up at your local farmer's market, you could do that as well. You know how I love talking about farmer's market and finding new and exciting things at the farmer's market. So, let me know what you feel about fermented stuff. Fermented foods. I won't want to say stuff because there's so many different types of things. I mean, when you think about fermentation, I hope wine or beer is not really the only thing that you should think about. I mean, if you are a foodie, yeah, those are going to be included. But first and foremost, food, particularly, hopefully you're going to be thinking of maybe yogurt, sauerkraut, the newest and hottest thing, which I do like, and for, as I say, for your probiotic health, which is the good bacteria that you have on the inside to make sure that your insides are nice and that's a nice way to put it, constantly moving. Kombucha. There are so many other things, and like it, again, newest and hottest thing. But then there's cheese, sauerkraut, even pickles. And I was looking online. I saw pickled avocado. That might be going a little bit farther than probably what I need. But yeah, bread. Come on now, yeast. That's what yeast helps with fermentation. I think I mentioned yogurt, but again, there are so many different things, and I only ask the question because there is a company or a business, food business, that really focuses on fermentation from foods that are fermented, or they refer to themselves as a fermentation bar, and that is Gyst. They are located at 25 East 26th Street. That's in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you'd like to find out even more information about them, definitely go to Gyst MPLS, and that's GYSTMPLS.com. They were established in 2015, but they describe themselves as being a fermentation bar. They celebrate the benefit of having food as well as beverages, in some form of preservation. And what they focus on is creating diverse tastes as well as health benefits. Because, as I mentioned, like with the kombucha, it's filled with so many good bacteria and probiotics that are great for your gastronomical and internal system, if you would, as well as food sustainability. They mentioned that they practice fermentation by producing specialty products as well as offering recipes and menus that are centered and geared around local and global fermented foods, as well as pairing them with certain beverages. And again, as I mentioned, yes, they are adult beverages, but food, and we already mentioned some of those, but probably wondering, well, what you're talking about fermentation. Star Tribune back in May when Gyst opened, and this is in 2015, they talked about in detail about what fermentation was, and just at a high level, just to give people an understanding of what is kind of dealing with the process of fermentation. So it really is apparently a simple act, and we I won't say we take it for granted, but bread, cheese, yogurt, again, a number of things that we're very familiar with, and would seem quite common, those are all products of a fermentation process, whether it be cultures, specifically for yogurts. Again, as I mentioned, yeast for bread. And the science, what seems like a simple science behind it, of, activating those, the yeast or the fermentation in certain, depending upon what you're actually trying to prepare, and then following a process of ending that fermentation, so that, and as an example, when you're preparing bread, you have to activate yeast most times with warm water and then setting it aside, and then when you finally mix it in with the dough and so forth, you have that bread, before it's baked, set it aside, and then you'll see it start to rise. Again, the activation or the fermentation process has been activated, and our process of ending that fermentation, or stop it from continuing to ferment, is putting it in the oven. And again, that's just an example. There are other ways, but that's, I guess, the most familiar, that many might be aware of. But again, they turned and talked about, kimchi, which is fermented cabbage, and it's more of an Asian type of, I don't want to say a side dish, because I know some friends that they will just simply eat the kimchi by itself as almost like a main dish. I've had it once, maybe twice, here in Minnesota, before becoming the Un-Bougie foodie. But and I'd say I'm not sure with the full process of making kimchi, because that seems like it might be another topic to talk about at another time. But it was quite spicy, and but it was good, But see, I'm a person that loves cabbage anyway, or will at least try something, to to an end of means to an end of, am I going to like this? Am I going to be able to continue to have this over and over and over? And it's not that I haven't liked it, because I did like it. It's just going out and be able to order it. My first thought when I'm going someplace is, if I'm going to have Asian, I'm going to have, a spring roll probably. Or if it's Japanese or Chinese, depending upon where I am, I'm going to probably want sushi or pho or something. Kimchi may not always be either on the menu or may not be on my mind at the moment. But again, an example of being, fermented foods. And I mentioned the fermentation, yes, because of Gyst. And though high level, explanation of fermentation, I wanted to bring out that Gyst is having kind of like an event. It's an ongoing event. It started June 26th, and it's pretty much extending all the way to September 1st. And I'm excited about participating in it. And they were calling it the Gyst Picnic Party Bag. And I love this because I know that years past, some friends have always said we need to have something like a picnic and just go out and enjoy ourselves and sit at a park, have a picnic basket with some cheese, some he said cold chicken, and maybe some, if the park allows, maybe a glass of Moscato or a Shiraz, a petite Shiraz. That's not me being a BBP. I'm just saying, anybody that knows what BBP is right now, that's not me being that. It's just me enjoying an opportunity to sit with friends and having a picnic. That's it. But they are providing an opportunity for you to, they are going to provide all the ingredients that you're going to need for, as they say, a perfect picnic. And it could be for anything. It could be a picnic, just a standard picnic, a graduation party or barbecue. You could take them at home and arrange them, on your own, platter or board or so forth, and enjoy it with family and friends, or just simply have a little basket and just go to the park and sit underneath the nice tree or in the sun with some shades on and enjoy it. For $65, which is really a great price because when you're considering all the stuff that's in this party bag, yeah, you can't go wrong. So, a selection of 3 cheeses, each a quarter pound each, 4-ounce salami from Olympia Provisions, a jar of Gyst traditional pickles, a half pint of citrus marinated olives, seasonal jam, candied pecans, and an important part of having a picnic with all of this cheese and wonderful artisan flavors is a baguette. You could also have kombucha as well. That's an additional, price as if you're interested. But all you have to do really is to go to kind of reserve, if you would, yourself opportunity to get a basket, is to go to Eventbrite. Eventbrite is kind of like it really is what it kind of sounds like. It's an event ticket service, if you would. But here, you're not really purchasing any ticket. All you're doing is actually going on to Eventbrite and confirming that you are interested in getting this party bag. And that would be send basically a notification to guys so that they could prepare that. They're going to ask you a few questions like what type of cheese that you would like, the date that you would like to pick it up. And then again, if they have any questions, it gives them an opportunity to confirm with you, just specifically all the specifics. And then if ever you wanted to contact them, they provide their email as well as their telephone number so that you can make sure that you have a smooth picnic party bag prepared just for you. So, again, visit Gyst Minneapolis or GystMPLS.com for more information. Again, that event is going on from June 26th to September 1st. And, if I'm quite sure that you're going to really enjoy, because really you get an opportunity to check out, the type of cheeses that you want. It's not them just providing any type of cheese. They're going to ask you, and hey, what cheese would you like? I could think of a Foo and Greek right now, or maybe even I don't know if they would probably do Swiss, but maybe some goat cheese with some lavender. Yeah. Or maybe rosemary and some some sage. No, not some sage. What's the other one I'm looking for? What's the other word I'm looking for? I can't remember. I'm trying to think off the top of my head with the goat cheese and rosemary and oregano. I'm sorry. Oregano. Why was I thinking sage? Anyway, that is Gyst Fermentation Bar. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that picnic party bag. So anybody else interested, you could come along on a picnic. You're very welcome. Oh my goodness. I know it seemed like it was a long-winded conversation and everything, but I love talking about food. And if it means sharing it with listeners like yourself and you supporting the radio station and this show, I look forward to bringing it to you every single week. There are other continued topics that I would love to talk about, but we are at the top of the hour. Can you believe that? That's what makes this so much fun, is because getting so engrossed in having conversations about food, it goes by so quickly. And it's like, it's just fun for me. It really is. I hope it's been fun for you as well. Please get out and enjoy the rest of your day. Before I go, I wanted to mention that there is, if you're interested in doing something really fun, Hmong Freedom Festival. It's going on right now. It started at 8 a.m. and it's going all the way until Sunday, or it's going to be again tomorrow at 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. And that's at 1155 Jessamine Avenue West, and that's in St. Paul. That's at the Como Park McMurray Field. Specifically, True Flavor Creations is going to be out there, and they've got a lot of great stuff. Mangonada, piña bubble tea. Gosh, that mangonada is wonderful, just so you know. So there's a little something else for you to do today. I don't want to say bye. But thank you all so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Again, I'm here every Saturday at 10 a.m. providing you all things about food and always bringing you the pleasures of the table. As always, as I end every show, I want to encourage you never to let anybody tell you what type of food you to be, because really, it is all about the food. Until next time, peace.